it's so good to see the past leaders and the current leaders together on this platform. So I take this opportunity to welcome you all for this wonderful and a very special session for Leap 3.0. My name is Archana Avinash, and I'd like to just test the energy in the room today, the Zoom room, of course. Now, all of you, let me see how you can use the emoji icon in the chat. Let's see what exactly is your current mood. So right now, the first task for all of you is to put in that one emoji which represents what mood you are in. For example, I would probably put in the fireball emoji here. So let me see what emojis are coming. Okay, I can see some hearts. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. That's wonderful. Okay. I see celebrations. Yes. Keep it going. Yes. I can see some. Is somebody actually sending a meal emoji? Okay. Someone's quite hungry. Thank you. Thank you for that. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I can see CP's the star emoji that he so likes and likes to use. Okay. Lovely. Thank you all. Thank you so much for that. And to keep this session going and to have some more energy pumped into the session, I have a very interesting scavenger hunt, a Zoom scavenger hunt for all of us here. For that, I want all of you to come on the video. Can you all come on the video, because I have a small activity. Now, what I will do here is I am going to read out, or I'll tell you out an item that you have to get. It should be quick. The first 3 people who get that item should raise their hand, use the raise hand option there, and show us that particular item. For example, if I say a bottle, then you will just show the bottle icon that I have here like this, and I'll call your name out. Okay, the first 3 people. Of course, please use the raise hand, otherwise I can't track who's showing the actual item. All right, all ready for the scavenger hunt? The first item is something which is red, an object that has a red color. Ooh. Srihari, can we see the item? All right, excellent. Okay, we have the next one. Bhavana.
Santosh.
A bread bag. Okay, lovely.
Achar.
Wait. Okay. Please don't unmute yourself. I will see who's raised the hand. Santosh, yes, a red pickle. Wonderful. That's 3 of you. Okay. Now next round. Others, you'll have to really kind of be really quick. Okay. Then let's make it really quick. Something that's related to a sport. Something that's related to a Rupa. Yes. Rupa, can you show it? Okay, no. All right. Rojaleen?
Dumbbell.
Something related to us. Oh, nice. A dumbbell. Are you in the gym? Okay, nice. Yeah. Okay. The next one is, yeah, Srihari. Can you call that out, Srihari? What is it? Okay.
So this is my professional yo-yo.
A yo-yo. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We can consider that. All right. Sunil Kumar. Oh, lovely. Okay, that's a badminton racket. Thank you. Okay, very nice. Okay, the next one now. The next one. Okay, the first 3 people. Fastest finger first. The next one is something that has a Toastmasters logo on it, an object. Natasha? Lovely. Yay. All right. Yes, Natasha is here. All right. Lyra? Yes, Lyra. I can't see you though.
Just give me a second. Here? Oh,
little...
1 second.
Okay. Super. Yes, we can see it. Thank you. It's a medal. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Supriya. I'll come to Srihari. Supriya? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Srihari here is showing the Toastmasters logo on his t-shirt. Well, okay. We may consider it. Thank you. So did you all have fun? Wonderful. Okay, I can see a pen. Okay, anyone who else who wants to show what they have in their hands? Okay, I can see another medal. Yes, lots of medals. Okay, we are so talented. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Did that energize all of you? Yes, okay. I can already see that this is going to be a fantastic session. And as all Toastmaster meetings go, we do have some ground rules. Thank you all for participating. We've started with emojis, we've started with a scavenger hunt, and let's keep this going. There are a few ground rules. Number one is please keep yourselves on mute throughout the session. And most importantly, turn your videos on. That way, we will have more energy, we'll have more interactions, and make this session so much more successful. And I think it is going to bring in so many things for us to take away. The third and the most important rule here is do make sure you have proper internet connection, because we would not want you to miss something that the leaders here have something to say. So these are the three important things. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful session ahead. And to get this going further, let me invite someone who has a wealth of experience and knowledge behind her. She's an MBA graduate from Alliance Manchester Business School in the UK. She has over 20 years of banking and business experience. She's been a Toastmaster for 12 years, and the most recent leadership role she's done is as a division director for Division F, and she's started 5 clubs. She's a mother of 3, is a voracious reader, has a passion for writing, and has authored 3 books. And she's somebody who believes that we need to learn all throughout our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the chair of Leap 3.0, distinguished Toastmaster, Jyotika Shetty.
Thank you very much, Archana. Let's give Archana a huge round of applause for that beautiful start. She energized us. I'm sure all of you are energized and pepped up to start this evening. Thank you, Archana, for that start. My dear leapers, leaders, Toastmasters, and guests, a warm good evening. A warm good evening to our platform. Good evening to the flagship program of District 121, LEAP 3.0. A very warm good evening to our eminent panelists, our past district directors present here today, Distinguished Toastmaster Nagarajan, Distinguished Toastmaster Vanitha Rangarajan, Distinguished Toastmaster Narayanan, Distinguished Toastmaster Arjun Sundarraj, Distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salyan, and our current district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul P. Menon. We also have with us our program quality director, Distinguished Toastmaster Safir Aziz, and our club growth director, Distinguished Toastmaster Pratap Mohan Nair. A warm welcome. Today is indeed a very special day in the life of LEAP 3.0, Leadership Empowerment and Advancement Program. What makes this special is not just that it's not that we have the panel available here today. That is definitely a reason to make this day special. But it's also the fact that this entire program is based on a vision, one single vision. Like our district director rightfully, very simply puts it together, but it's in a very profound way. He once put it together, saying that I do not want to only create leaders within Toastmasters, but I want to create leaders outside of Toastmasters. Because when these leaders create an impact in the outer world, it must speak volumes about Toastmasters. And I'm so happy to say that that one clarity of vision has created this entire program. So this entire program is based on that fact that he wanted to create leaders who can or ready for tomorrow. LEAP 3.0 officially began its journey in July 2025. So the first 2 months, we were curating, planning, preparing, interviewing, recruiting, and aligning our thoughts and actions together. And it was September 2025, we started off this program. And the very fact that we have a panel here available today and who are willing to give their time to us gives me that reassurance that we are on the right path. It is programs like 3.2, Leap 3.2 that actually shape our leadership journey. And it gives us that growth and tells us how do we conduct as leaders. And I totally believe that. Now, for those of you who are not a part of the Leap 3.0 program, and we have many who have registered because this session is open to all, I think it would be justified if I speak a little bit very briefly about what Leap 3.0 is. So Leap 3.0 is an 8-month immersive training, leadership training, which is divided into 2 parts. The first 6 months is about training. So trainings include lectures, reflective study, case studies, panel discussions, and all of these things. And it also includes an individual project that our leapers will submit after 3 months of their training. The second part is the 2 months of capstone project. That is a group project that will be delivered at the end of the session, that is the end of the 6 months period. So they'll have another 2 months to do the program. Now, the entire program is well structured under a framework which is called the LEAP 3.0 7-level leadership framework, which in turn is categorized under 3 different aspects of leadership. One is the foundational, which is all about yourself, self-leadership, self-discipline, and all of that. And that's exactly what our leapers are doing. The second one is about relational leadership. Relation is about how to lead others, how to influence others without authority. And the third one is strategic leadership. Now, strategic leadership is leading with a vision. So if you actually look at the entire program, this program is a very systematic pathway for transformation. In simple words, a metamorphosis of leadership. This year, the batch contains 60 leapers and 10 mentors who are experiencing this journey together. In September, we started the first level, which was self-leadership that we just completed. And this month, that is in October, we've got into the second leadership, or rather climbed to the second leadership, which is growth mindset, resilience, and grit. And that's how today's particular panel discussion makes it so valid and relevant, because it is completely related to what we are doing as in the LEAP program. Like John Maxwell said, a leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And that's exactly what we're going to learn from the leaders who have been there, done it, experienced their challenges, their opportunities, and their stories that we're going to learn and grow. Are we all excited? But if there's one thing that really stood out for me so far in this experience is the fact that we were able to bring in facilitators from all around the world who on their own came forward to offer their deep wisdom. And that, I believe, is a total win to start with. And it only reinforces my idea that when your vision is aligned with values, the universe itself conspires to make it happen for you. And that is what is happening in LEAP 3.0. But this is not just a lone journey. It is a journey of group, teamwork. And I'd definitely like to acknowledge my team, or the LEAP 3.0 team, consisting of Daryl Rodericks and Renu Rochelle, who have been instrumental, and they are par excellence. It's a team to reckon. So good to work with them, so open to learning, and definitely the backbone of this program. And also the 10 mentors who are here spending their time together with the leapers. And I'd like to specifically name each one of them, starting with Distinguished Toastmaster Shalini Prabhu, Archana Avinash, Distinguished Toastmaster Pandya Raj. Let's clap for them because they are spending a lot of time helping us make this program successful. Distinguished Toastmaster Pandya Rajan, Distinguished Toastmaster Anita Cordero, Distinguished Toastmaster Chetlur Shanti Prasad, Srihari, Distinguished Toastmaster Bharati Shevgur, Akhil Thomas John, Sudhindra Ramakrishnan, and Distinguished Toastmaster Shiba Nandajan. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment and your dedication to this program. Thank you very much. Thank you to all for your presence today. Let's immerse in the learning in the next 2 hours. Learn from the leaders of our district who've been instrumental in making this district what it is today. So warm welcome again and wish you all the best. But now, let's hear from the captain of the ship. And he is none other than our current district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul P. Menon. Over to you for your address, Gokul.
Thank you so much, Jyotika. Good evening, everyone. So good to see all of you on this virtual platform. I'll start by narrating a very small story because you're going to hear me a lot. I'll narrate a very short story and conclude my district director's address today. Yesterday evening, I received a panic message from the chair of Leap 3.0, Jyotika Shetty. I was wondering what went wrong. And I honestly thought more than one panelist would have backed out, and that would have caused her that panic. But little did I know, her reason for panic was totally different. The reason why she panicked was because the Zoom account the district had only accommodated 100 participants. And she was very sure that this session that we're going to have today, the very first of its kind in any version of LDP or LEAP so far, will definitely hit a number more than that. And if you see the participants count right now, you would see the magic number 121, district's number 121, just one above now, reflecting in the participants window. That shows how committed the leapers and the members of the district are to tune in to this session and to know more about the leadership tactics, so to say it, the leadership strategies that will work in favor of the clubs, areas, divisions, and in total District 121. As the district director, it gives me immense pleasure to invite each of our panelists individually to this forum. I'd like to share a few memories that I have with each of them. To start with, we have the District 92 Director for 2018-19, Distinguished Toastmaster Nagarajan PA. Had it not been for him, you would not see me as a district director because he paved the journey of my district leadership back then when I started as an area director. Trust me, back then people used to fail in area director applications. I failed in the very first time I applied. I was demotivated to apply the second time, but he fueled me. He gave that fire in me to go ahead. And the second time I did qualify to become an area director, and the journey continued till becoming your district director. So that is Distinguished Toastmaster Nagarajan PA, District 92 Director for 2018-19 for you. The second person again is super special, not for District 121 alone, but for me as well. She is a proud, very first region advisor from District 121, a very common name in District 121. But more than that, she is the person who gave me exposure to a lot of things, including coming up with the idea of LEAP. Because back then, when I was her administration manager, she gave me the opportunity to lead LEAP, the very first version of LEAP, which was then conducted by Sumit Banerjee. And if LEAP 3.0 is a total success, a great share of credit goes to Vanita also, because it is in her year that this seed was planted, which has grown to such a great level. So it is our region advisor, our current region advisor, distinguished Toastmaster Vanita Rangarajan, who has also joined us here to be part of this panel discussion. Our next panelist is a man whose actions speak louder than words, a person that I hold very close connections with, a person I consider a true gentleman, let aside any other aspect. A person I've had the privilege to know from the very year that I joined, back in the last decade when I joined. From then, I know him very closely, and he has been part of all the roles that I've carried out so far. He is the District 121 Director for 2022-23, and is none other than Distinguished Toastmaster Narayanan M. Thank you, Narayanan, sir, for joining us here. Our next panelist has a great role to play in my trio journey because he taught me numbers. A person who was totally new to trio, had no clue of how to carry out business. And if you see me as a district director today, a fair share of credit goes to him as well, because he took me through the role of the club grow director from where I started, and then I progressed to the PQD and the DD roles. He is a person again, an avid reader, and more importantly, a motivational speaker, an NLP coach practitioner. Think about anything, and he is that. And that is the District 121 Director for 2023-24, Distinguished Toastmaster Arjun Sundaraj for you. The next panelist that I have here is a person that I had the opportunity to work closely with for many years. I was an AD when she was the administration manager, and our journey continued. And just the last year, she is a proud, she was a proud district director. And why proud? She is the club grow director that took our district to Smedley Distinguished Club grow District recognition. The only time we have achieved it so far. And just the last year, when she was a district director, our district regained the laurel and became a distinguished district director. She was recognized for this specific aspect at Philadelphia during the 2025 International Convention that happened this year. And that is none other than our immediate past district director, distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salim. I'd also like to mention a special name here. If you noticed the years, there is one person who is not here with us today. And that person is again a past region advisor and a proud member of District 121, distinguished Toastmaster Rajkumar Bansal. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj was unable to be with us today, but he will be here for Leap 3.0 for a totally different session in the days to come, where we will have the opportunity to hear from him. Opportunity to work with a quintet. He had 2 PQDs and 2 CGDs, and one of the CGDs is right here, distinguished Toastmaster Vanitha Rangarajan. And the other PQD also served as a past RA, distinguished Toastmaster Bhupati Shankar. So that is the panel that we have here today, and special regards to distinguished Toastmaster Rajkumar Bansal also, who will be with us for another session soon. Let me not take any more time. I know you're all waiting to listen to the panelists. I am super excited as you are. Thank you to each one of you for agreeing to be here with us for Leap 3.0's panel discussion. Back to you, Jyotika, to take the session forward. Looking forward, because I am so excited. Over to you.
So am I, Gokul. Thank you very much for that beautiful and inspiring opening. Thank you very much. Let's not waste time and quickly jump into what you all are waiting for. And that is the panel discussion. And to take the session forward, I'd like to call or invite onto the stage he's a member of Leap 3.0, a member of Toastmasters for over 6 years, and a distinguished Toastmaster, someone who's been an integral part of District 121 in various capacities, such as area director, division director, as well as last year, he was the district PR manager. He's currently working as a business analyst at One Lattice in Bangalore. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear Toastmasters, leapers and leaders, please help me welcome with a huge round of applause our moderator for this evening, distinguished Toastmaster Daryl Rodericks. Over to you, Daryl.
Thank you very much, Leap Chair, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika Shetty. Good evening, Leapers and Toastmasters. Good evening, Leapers and Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Daryl.
All right, fantastic. So the energy is there. I would request everybody now to go on mute. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and friends, I am privileged to moderate a conversation today with leaders who have guided our clubs and shaped the journey of many Toastmasters. This evening, let us begin with something that determines the kind of leader we become, our mindset. So today, here's 3 things for you to do. Hear personal stories, personal journeys, the moments that have shaped our leaders. Pull out the concrete lessons, the things that you can probably try with your team or in your club next week, and leave with a simple challenge. Adopt one small mindset practice for 21 days and watch the magic that will unfold. Toastmasters and Leapers, welcome to this special panel discussion on mindset challenges and lessons for leaders. We have 6 exceptional leaders with us, each with a different term, a different set of challenges, and a different set of lessons. It is now my honor to quickly introduce to you our distinguished panelists. Our first panelist is distinguished Toastmaster Nagarajan PA, who joined Toastmasters in 2010, bringing with him the precision of a chartered accountant and the vision of a people-first leader. As District Director of District 92 in 2018-19, he led the district to achieve the Smedley Distinguished District status, ranking among the top 3 performing districts globally. Please put your hands together and welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Nagarajan PA. Our second panelist is Distinguished Toastmaster Vanitha Rangarajan, who joined Toastmasters in 2015. As District Director of District 121, she guided the district to new heights, earning multiple excellence awards while nurturing a culture of collaboration and growth. Currently serving as Region 13 Advisor, the first from District 121, she continues to empower leaders across 9 countries in South Asia. Please put your hands together and welcome our second panelist, Distinguished Toastmaster Vanitha Rangarajan. Joining us next on the panel is Distinguished Toastmaster Narayanan. He began his Toastmasters journey in 2011. As the District Director of District 121, he led with empathy and balance, earning the Excellence in Program Quality Award and mentoring over 100 Toastmasters. A former CEO of the Skill Development Institute, BPCL, he continues to inspire with his wisdom and humility. Please give it up for Distinguished Toastmaster Narayanan. Our next panelist is Distinguished Toastmaster Arjun Sundaraj. He joined Toastmasters in 2012, and as District 121 Director, he inspired members under the banner of #OneDistrict, fostering unity and collaboration across boundaries. A 5-time Distinguished Toastmaster and international keynote speaker, he was one of the 5 global leaders chosen to train district leaders at the 2023 Bahamas International Training. Please put your hands together and welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Arjun Sundaraj. Joining us next on the panel is Distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian. She joined Toastmasters in 2010. As the District Director last year, she led District 121 to distinguished status after a gap of 3 years. As the first Club Growth Director of District 121, she helped charter 43 clubs, achieving the Smedley Distinguished District recognition. Please put your hands together and welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Savita Salian. And our last panelist is Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul P. Menon. Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul represents a new generation of leaders who lead with clarity, strategy, and collaboration. Currently serving as our District Director, he embodies his vision of clarity, community, and commitment. Professionally, a staffing lead at TCS, Gokul brings a data-driven, yet people-centered approach to every role he takes on. Please put your hands together for our last panelist, Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul. And I'd like to once again take this opportunity to offer a warm and hearty welcome to all our esteemed panelists, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say. So let's start with the most powerful thing a leader can share, their story. We will now spend 5 minutes with each panelist understanding their story, how they became who they are, their defining choices, and the mindset, as well as the lessons that changed them. Now, to make sure we hear from everyone and to stay on time, I'd like to request our panelists to keep your responses to a minute or a minute and a half. I'm going to start with Distinguished Toastmaster Nagarajan PA. DTM Nagarajan, now you have seen Toastmasters evolve through more than a decade of change. Looking back, what drew you to leadership in the first place? And what made you say yes when the opportunity to serve at a higher level came your way?
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Daryl. As you know, I was in District 92, comprising of 2 major districts, I mean states of Kerala and Karnataka. We had 200 plus clubs at that time. And I was representing Kerala state, one of the clubs in Kerala. At that time, after my area directorship that was required for completing our DTM ship that you know, after that, I stopped. That's the minimum I will stop there. Then finding the other leaders from a close quarters, I found that why don't I try for the next level? Then I became division director. That year I was adjudged as the best division G director in District 92. Then I looked around and I found that in Kerala, none of my seniors have ventured beyond the division director. Maybe one of my mentor, of course, our distinguished Toastmaster Nirmala Lily, he was LGM in Eastwale District 82. There ended the matter. Then I thought, why don't I try? Nothing in fearing about loss or defeat in an election. I just went ahead. Then I became DPRM under distinguished Toastmaster Pavas Chandra. He was my DD at that time. Then I threw my hat into the PQD role directly, jumping that CGD role. Elections, yes, I won that post. And very next year, again election, and I became district director. So mindset is more important because at every stage, beyond division director, my own mentors, especially seniors, used to tell me, see, Nagarajan, you are from Kerala. We have less than 30 clubs. And look at Bangalore, there where you will find 200 plus clubs. Why do you want to invite a defeat? I will say, what is there in a defeat? Toastmasters teach us, we learn a lot from defeats, right? We have to embrace actually not wins, but losses. This is how I went into that position. Thank you.
Right.
Dad.
Thank you. Thank you, TTM Nagarajan. I think embracing opportunity and also embracing losses makes you stronger. Now, your year when you served as the district director was one for the history books, right? Achieving Smedley Distinguished and placing in the top three globally. What do you believe there drove success? Was it the systems, the people, or was there any spirit behind it?
Yeah, you mentioned a word in the introduction of my introduction. I noted it, people-friendly person. That is one. Then, of course, thanks to my elders, previous district directors, who were actually visionaries. Now, I can tell that we had robust system. Like LEAP, we had similar parallel there during that time as well. We have been making, or rather, it's a factory of leaders. Every time we had very good leaders and committed people. So that is how we could achieve all that. Like you said, it's not a single man's role there. You have to motivate everyone, take everyone as a team. And I'm sure success will be chasing you. That's all.
Fantastic. So I can summarize and take and say teamwork made the dream work for you, DTM Nagarajan. Now, leadership is never without challenges, right? So can you share, if there was, and I'm sure there would have been, a defining moment from your journey when things didn't go as planned, and that moment shape any particular leadership philosophy for you going forward?
In my case, there was not much of a concern. There were not major problems. Of course, we had few during the time of election. That was a time when I was required to take tough calls as part of leadership only. So as we all say, there will be situations when you will have to put your foot down. And the results of those decisions have affected me later, but still, I still believe those decisions were correct at that point in time. Those were required for the better position of our district then. So that is my greatest learning.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your story with us, DTM Nagarajan. And if I could take one learning out of this, it would be how leadership goes forward. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I'll now move on to our next panelist, distinguished Toastmaster Vanita. DTM Vanita, you've always embodied the philosophy of give more and get more. Can you take us back to where that belief began? Was there a moment, was there an experience that made you realize that giving truly multiplies growth?
All right. I would have to say that this was way before Toastmasters. Even at the previous organization that I was a part of, I constantly found myself engaging with other volunteering activities. It could be, CSR activities. It could be something for employees. But volunteering has always been something that I would just spend time and do. And when I came to know that there is an entire organization that just runs solely on other people spending their time and effort and helping others grow, I was really just very curious. My journey started by just following this one random person that I met at a district conference. The first time I was at a district conference, she spoke and everybody listened. She seemed to have gotten everybody to like do stuff. She, I later got to know that she was the district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Gauri. I literally just followed her everywhere. And whatever she was doing, I thought, okay, that day I didn't even know what a district director was. I said, I'm going to become district director someday. And I'd not even, at that point, I just started with the club leadership, secretary role or something like that. So for me, it was just very easy. Once I knew that these were roles that I could take, I just realized that anything you do, you just do it wholeheartedly and it'll get you somewhere. And that's been pretty much my philosophy. Give it your 100%, irrespective of the outcome. Make sure that you put your 100% effort. And at the end of the day, you should be able to sleep at peace saying, you know what, I did my best. So that's the kind of thing that has gotten me this far. Every role in Toastmasters that I've taken, the first role that I took at the district leadership, when I said yes to the role, I did not know that it didn't give me a officer credit. It was the logistics manager role. And when somebody asked me, I said, yeah, okay, sure, I'll do it. Like, what does it do? And then they said, manage logistics. And I said, okay, easy peasy, no problem. I mean, I've done it at work and things like that. And then I had like one of them come and say, but don't take this role, ask for an area director role, at least you'll get credit. And I'm like, what's credit? That is how I started the role. And then now I'm thinking, it doesn't matter what you say yes to, but once you say yes to, there's definitely going to be learning. And that has been very significant across the years of different roles that I've taken with or without a title. So, yeah, that is probably my journey here, Daryl.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think say yes, learn from it, and do it from the heart. That makes a lot of difference. Now, as district director at ATM Manita, you have led through transition as well as expansion. What was that one decision or initiative that truly reflected your leadership style and your leadership values?
Um, I would say, I'll pick the word collaboration. We are such a giant organization spanning over 100 years. Somehow, the very essence, I was telling Gokul, like, I'm just so bowled over the fact that, you're not doing this program for becoming better at Toastmasters. We're becoming better elsewhere and leaders outside Toastmasters. I've always wondered, how are we not collaborating with the rest of the world with such a powerful organization? Everywhere, irrespective of the industry, we need Toastmasters in that industry. So it got me thinking. And so in my year, I remember going out of the way and having these collaborations done with Rotary and PMI, giant organizations again, and seeing how partnership really can work. And that for me has been fantastic learning. Um, yep.
Thank you. And those collaborations have led to success with the clubs being chartered and members benefiting out of this program. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, DTM Manita. And I'm sure you've mentored countless leaders over the last 10 years as a Toastmaster. What is the one lesson from that experience that has changed how you view success, not as an outcome, but as a journey?
I think the very idea of success itself is very relative, but I'll tell you one thing that has shifted for me completely. Okay. Until about the time that I became a district leader, I was this person who would say, you know what, I'm not focused. I don't care about the dashboard. I believe in quality. Everything that I want to do, I'm going to do it for the people and they will speak about it and all that. And then I realized numbers speak the game. You could completely 100% be successful if you have the numbers on, and the quality can follow in the way that you do the things, but numbers speak volume. And that has probably been one very different thing. I never imagined myself saying, numbers is a deal breaker at any point in my life, but Toastmasters did that for me because I saw how, quality comes with that numbers by, going towards a certain goal. And those are just not numbers. Those are stories that you've not known or waiting to hear. But if you stop looking at them as numbers and know what really it takes to achieve your goal, that is something that has really shifted for me. So yeah, the numbers game.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that, DTM Anita. Yes, we call it a numbers game, but I think quality stands out more. Thank you for also sharing your story with all of us, showing us your courage, giving us that clarity, and it can also exist with vulnerability to an extent. So thank you so much, DTM Vanita. We'll now move on to our next panelist, distinguished Toastmaster Narayanan. DTM Narayanan, what would be your guiding philosophy as a leader? And how has that belief shaped the way that you have led people or handled challenges?
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Nadi. The first and foremost thing as per me is the relationships. If we keep cordial relationship with each and everyone, I think anyone can become a good leader. Unless we keep that relationship intact, how a person can name himself as a leader? A leader must be able to coordinate all the people because there may be different kinds of people in his team with various perspectives, various attitudes, various behavior. So how to coordinate with all such different types of people so that humanity should be come in front more than the procedures and other practices. I believe in that humanity. If we can consider all the members as our family members, definitely we can do it. So I always believe that Toastmasters or any other team is a family, and I try to imbibe the methods and attitudes where a family member behaves with another family member. This is my philosophy in leadership.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, DTM Narayan. And I've heard it time and again where you have said Toastmasters is a family. And yes, I think that is the emotion that comes out when we all get together multiple times. DTM Narayanan, now you have led teams, yes, in Toastmasters, but also in your corporate. And while we spoke about how important relationships are, people are in an organization, was there any point where you felt empathy will make a difference in the outcome?
Yes, definitely, Darin. See, as I told previously, there are procedures and protocols. But when someone cannot raise up to the expected level, we should check with them why, check with him why he or she could not perform up to the expected level. Then we can understand that there may be situations which may be beyond their control. So I will always try to put my feet on others' toe. When we do so, we should realize the obstacles, the nuances, the problems, what they face, and why they could not perform as per our expectations. Then, if we empathize with them, definitely they will try to do their level best, and we can also understand the reasons, and we can keep the relationship intact. As the lesson I have learned through the empathy. Thank you.
I think well said, DTM Narayanan. Empathy just makes the relationship that much more stronger, and it brings out the best in the other person and in us. So thank you for sharing that. DTM Narayanan, many leaders are defined by what they achieve, but I believe that you are known for how you make people feel. When you look back, what is that one experience that has reminded you that leadership is above all a human journey? Would you like to share any experience that where you felt that?
Yes, I always believe that leadership is keeping the relationship intact, as I told earlier. When you ask me regarding the examples for leadership, I can quote many, but one thing I can tell you is, see, when I was the district director, one of our district officers could not perform as per my expectation. Then I checked with him why he was absent for many of the meetings, and his performance was very poor. When I checked with him and when I analyzed his situations, I understood that things were even beyond his control, and he was facing so many problems in his family. I was never aware of that previously. So at that point of time, I told him that don't worry, I will take care, or my team, the supporting team will take care whatever they can, and we could keep the relationship in a smooth way. Otherwise, if I did not check with him at that point of time, or if I were behaved like a leader instead of a human being, that relationship should have been spoiled. Still, we are in good relationships, even though he could not perform as in the expected level. So I always believe that humanity is more important than any other thing. Thank you.
Well said, DTM Narayanan. I think you put yourself in that person's shoes and analyze the situation. And you also, by sharing your story with us, showed us that leadership doesn't always have to be loud to be strong. You took that person in confidence and spoke. So thank you so much, DTM Narayanan, for sharing your inspiring story with all of us today. I'll now move on to our next panelist, distinguished Toastmaster Arjun. DTM Arjun, now I have been able to observe your journey, and I would say it reflects ambition and authenticity. Was there any turning point in your leadership journey when you moved from, say, doing things right to leading with purpose?
Wow. Okay. First of all, thank you so much, Daryl, for the question. And it's super nice to be with such eminent panelists, all past district directors, and it's really great definitely to share the stage with every single one of them. When you look at doing things with purpose, I personally feel that happens every single time. If you do not have a purpose, then why are you doing things? That's like the mantra that I live with, I would say. All right, every single leadership role that I have taken, there is always a vision that I have had. And that's something that I learned by working with multiple leaders. Let me just start off with my very first club leadership role itself. I served as a Vice President Public Relations and Associate Vice President of Education. The president then of the club, a part of the club that I was, it's Prince Toastmasters, now in District 92. The President Srinath, he mentioned one point during our first committee call right after the installation committee meeting rather. At that point in time, what he mentioned was, you, all 7 of you can do whatever it is that you wish to in the role, but this is my vision as the president. And how will we be able to align your activities with that vision? That single statement made me think that a leader needs to have a clarity on where he or she needs to go. And that comes with a lot of definition of purpose. Why is it that you're doing the role? And in what way will you make a difference? And that's something that I've lived with every single leadership role, be it as a club officer, district officer, and so on and so forth till date.
Fantastic. Well said, Arjun. I think knowing your why is very important when you take up any role. And of course, in leadership, why do you want to serve? So thank you for sharing that. Arjun, leadership, we all know, focuses on people, and we just spoke about it, be it empowering others, building confidence. Do you have any story which best captures this particular belief of, say, collaborative growth that you would like to share with us?
I would go with my club leadership experience yet again, Daryl, over here for this question. The reason why I say that, because it made me understand the importance of dealing with conflicts. As a leader, you need to deal with conflicts. You need to deal with different perspectives. And when I was serving as a president of my club, my vice president of education was my mentor. So he was more experienced in Toastmasters. He had served as an area director as well, area governor back then. And he had one specific challenge that he used to work on night shift. So during the day, he was not all available. So I had to, because we are all available, rest of the team was available during the day, but he was not because he was sleeping. And we had to find out a time that really worked so well for us, sometime during the day, especially to have certain discussions. And there was a point in time where we were not able to set the agenda in place for various reasons as far as the club meetings were concerned. And there were meetings which were multiple meetings which went low on energy. And I did have this conversation, like how Narayan just mentioned, in terms of performance of one of the district officers in his team. I did have a conversation with this individual, and it came out as if I was having a tug of war with him. I was not choosing the right words to talk to, and I lost my temper, to be honest. And there was a lot of exchange of words here and there. And that's when I realized that it's not about just getting the work done, but in what way are you getting the work done? That is, like you said, it's not doing things right, but it's about doing right things. So then I interacted with a couple of my mentors and then understood that what I did was actually wrong. That's when I realized that, okay, I understood his situation and started providing support. And within a month, it took some time, within a month, we started to see the meetings coming back on track. We had members starting to progress. We had education awards being submitted. And more than anything else, the energy levels that we had in such meetings made a big difference. That foundation as a club president really made a difference for multiple discussions that I have had with several people in whichever team that I have led, be it as an area director, division director, so on and so forth, or even definitely as a part of the trio roles as well. So that understanding gave me that calmness to step into the other person's shoes and go with the flow, being there for that person, establishing that bond and getting the work done in the right way by doing the right things. That's what I have.
Thank you for sharing that. A very inspiring lesson, DTM Arjun. Sometimes we might not have all the answers, but when we come together as a team, collaborate with others, that's when we make real impact. You spoke about and you spoke for club meeting energy, and of course, as a leader, you want to bring that energy, always forward thinking. But every strong leader will have that quiet lesson. It could be a setback, it could be a surprise that changed how you view leadership. Did you have any moment like that, or would you like to share it with all of us?
Every single leadership role of mine has had moments like that, because we're all people at the end of the day. People come with different belief systems, different experiences, different perspectives of things. It's like giving a speech and then expecting an evaluation that you want to listen. That doesn't happen anytime. Every single time there is a different perspective that comes in. And one specific, I would say, example that I would like to quote over here is when I was serving as a division director. So I was serving as a division director with 3 of my area directors who were much older than me, and one of them was a college student. And that's how we were working with. And every single person came from completely different work experiences. One was a homemaker, one was working in a corporate, and one had her own business. All right, so we had to deal with it, especially with the time when there was a very specific challenge that a club presented because of something that an area director had mentioned. And when this got escalated to the trio, and then I got emails from the trio back then when they were in the convention in the month of August. And I had just had to send one email to them saying that, hey guys, don't worry. I will understand the situation and give you feedback after you return from the convention. But during that entire period, right, that 1.5 weeks, I had to make multiple phone calls to understand what exactly had gone wrong. couple of phone calls to even the club members where the affected club had to, and I had to get the feedback from them as well. And then I gave the feedback to the club and to the area director as well as to what exactly was the understanding or the perspective which the other party had in this case. So that's something that you got to deal with in every single leadership role. I think everything is like a different scale, Darren. That's something that I would mention.
Right, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, Arjun. I think when it comes to leadership in any role, you need to be daring to take that leap. It might challenge your limits, but ultimately, hey, growth happens when you're outside your comfort zone. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your leadership story with all of us, Arjun, DTM Arjun. I'll now move on to distinguished Toastmaster Savita. DTM Savita, your leadership journey, I can say, has been defined by your calm confidence and your genuine care. Now, what inspired you to take your first step into leadership, and what continues to keep you motivated till date?
DTM Darren. I got into, like everyone, when you join Toastmasters, you join to improve your confidence, and I was not different. But my mentor, that is DTM Maria de Costa, wanted me to get into the club admin and executive board. So that's how I took up the secretary role. And I enjoyed leadership, and I would say till the district director, so I did enjoy my role as a leader. And then, of course, it continued. The next year, you go ahead. I became VP education, then the president. First, being in Bangalore, there were unwritten rules. Like once one club would take up area director, the other time it would be some other club. So it was, that year was mine, and that's how I became the area director. 2 years within Jamaica, and then time. Yeah, initially it was by my mentor, but then later I went ahead. CGD, I stepped in. Yeah, wanted to do it because there was no one from Bangalore who had attempted for, of course, I went 10 years ago. So the next, I thought the future. That's how I went ahead.
All right. So your mentor pushed you. So every mentor here, you know what you have to do if you want people to escalate or go forward in their leadership journey. Now, DTM Savita, you led the district back to the distinguished status after 3 years, and that is a huge milestone. What mindset helped you maintain the focus and the positivity that resulted in this huge milestone?
I would say it's your characteristics and the value. Now, for me, I feel what has taken forward this perseverance. There were times where goals seemed unreachable, leaders around me were too tired or discouraged or to push forward. But whether it was persuading leaders to charter clubs, work on renewals, or simply trying to motivate someone who has lost interest, perseverance was what I rise with. So there are values which help you to take it forward. And there were moments, of course, when I asked myself, is it worth it? And I learned that leadership is not about doing what's easy. And it's not about losing focus, leaders focus. So I stumbled along the way. And but yes, that was the first value. And the second is gratitude and service. So, many times I've heard my family or even my friends saying, as a Toastmaster has employed you, why do you work yourself to the bone to add members at the state clubs? And what do you really get out of it? But my answer is just one. I joined Toastmasters to grow as a person. This organization gave me something that no other institute ever gave. That's my voice. And it helped me to think so which I cannot measure in numbers. So that is why my leadership has always been rooted to gratitude for the platform, gratitude for the people, and gratitude for the opportunity. So then only I think service comes naturally. So leadership for me has never been about authority, but about responsibility. So it's about giving back to the organization that gave me so much. So, and I simply the joy of serving. So one time, that's what I would say is it's a values, perseverance, gratitude, and
Right, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Now we know the secret to your success. Focus, perseverance, and gratitude. Our district can become distinguished. Thank you for sharing that, DTM Savita. And now your hashtag last year was building people, and that says a lot about your type of leadership. Can you share any moment where you truly saw that belief come to life? Investing in people led to success.
yes. We had reached the end of the term. That is, we had reached May, and we had new clubs coming in. And when we counted, there are times when we felt we wouldn't reach the goal, we wouldn't be distinguished. But in the end, we required that 79 members, 79 members to become distinguished. And that's the time when we literally appealed to the people. And I have seen the district leaders, club leaders, in fact, all the members coming together to support, to help, and to help the district become distinguished. I called veteran members, the the former members who had left us, and I saw even the veteran leaders doing that. I've seen the club members, the club officers approaching, calling the members who had left us and joined. And we've seen the end result. We were successful. So I think, yes, building people was the right time, and the support. The entire district coming together is a proof.
Fantastic. I think becoming distinguished was not just your dream, it was our dream, and that's why when everyone comes together, we can move mountains. So thank you so much. Thank you, DTM Savita, for sharing your story. And if there was one insight that I grabbed from here, I think it's not inspiring others through pressure, but through presence. And thank you for sharing that through your story. We now move on to our last panelist, our district director, distinguished Toastmaster Gokul. DTM Gokul, I said this when I introduced you, and I believe it that you represent a new generation of leaders who blend data with empathy. What was that moment or realization that made you believe leadership is something you wanted to pursue?
There are in fact two things, Daryl, that made me realize leadership is something that I wanted to pursue. The first aspect was mentioned by a co-panelist, and it is seeing leaders who have served in the past. The district as district directors, they may not have had the opportunity because they would not have seen me in that role. So I had that unique privilege of observing all of them and identifying or understanding what the strengths are, what their styles are, and learning from it. The second aspect, because of which I decided to move forward in leadership, is because trust me, the joy that you get by paying it forward, and that's a term that I've always been using. The joy that you get by paying it forward is unmatchable. Let's say you buy a gift, a goodie, but if you see a positive impact that's made on someone else because of something that you did, including something very small, that's a joy that you would carry for a very long time. These are the two aspects that helped me decide that I should move forward in leadership, Darren.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Gokul. I'm sure it will pave the way for many of us who are listening to you, pave the way forward for all of us. DTM Gokul, this year, your focus has been on three aspects: clarity, community, and commitment. Now, what do these three words mean to you personally? And how does it guide you when it comes to your approach to leadership?
Thank you so much, Daryl. Now, these three key words keep the District 121 officer team, the clubs, and everything going. For me, these three words signify three key aspects that I'd like to personally give attention to as a district director. The first, C, clarity, talks about identifying what we need from this organization called Toastmasters. Many a times at club level, one of the common mistakes that we do is to generalize, to think that people join Toastmasters to become a better communicator. Trust me, studies show that less than 40% of them actually join Toastmasters to become a better communicator. I did not know this until I took up trio roles. People join Toastmasters to become a better leader because this is where leaders are made. People join Toastmasters to improve their network as well. We are all, the panelists that are here, are all in different parts of the world, yet we are here together on a Zoom screen. So it's about realizing what you want out of Toastmasters. Is it the job promotion? Is it being the head boy of your college, if you're a college student? Identifying this clarity for me. The second aspect, community, is about realizing that if you need help, if you need support, not just within Toastmasters, but outside of Toastmasters as well. Toastmasters is a community that is spread across 150 countries and many, many states in India. I've been to 11 countries, and out of the 11, I've been invited by Toastmasters fraternity in 8 of those countries where I had no other connection. So that tells you about community. It's about realizing that we are all united in this. It's about understanding that you are not alone here, we are all together. The third C talks about commitment. Commitment for me is twofold: commitment to self. You should, when you join Toastmasters, be sure that you're able to invest a few things. The first investment is in terms of money. Of course, we are all renewing a membership. But the most important investment that I consider is in terms of time. If you're unable to give your time for Toastmasters, I wouldn't call that an investment. You can do a prepared speech without preparation. But the prepared speech that you do with preparation helps you stand apart from the crowd. Know why you are here. It's just to complete a title and earn an accolade. For me, it's about making that impact. It's about realizing that we are here to actually improve. And that has kept me going, Daryl. Commitment to others is the second aspect. Knowing that we are in Toastmasters wherein there is no teacher to teach us, we are required to help others in the journey to ensure that they grow along with us is commitment to others. Thanks for that question.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gokul. Thank you for sharing your vision with us. And I'm sure uh, that this vision will lead you to success, our district to success, and all those who have heard it to success. So thank you so much. With that, Toastmasters and Leapers, we have heard 6 incredible journeys. Each of them were unique, but yet all connected by one common thread, and that is the mindset. The mindset that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary leadership. Thank you to all our panelists for sharing your personal journeys because each one was a masterclass, be it in self discovery, growth, or even courage. But now it's time to go deeper. The next segment will bring questions from the Leap 3.0 cohort, where these questions capture what many of us silently wonder, what really builds a leader? How do you stay confident, make tough decisions, and keep growing, even when things don't go as planned? So, we've got some exciting questions lined up, and I'd like to remind you again to keep your answers. We're doing good on time, but I'd like to again remind you to keep your answers to a minute or a minute and a half at max. We're going to follow a little different order this time. So I'll give you the order as well for your benefit, for the benefit of our panelists. So it's going to be DTM Arjun, then DTM Gokul, DTM Nagarajan, DTM Narayanan, DTM Savita, and then DTM Vanita. That's the order we're going to follow for this particular segment. All right, so every leader begins somewhere, not with a title, but with a choice. A choice to step forward, a choice to take a chance, or simply say yes when it would have been easier to stay comfortable. I'm going to start with you, Arjun. Like I said, TTM Arjun, when did you decide to step beyond your club? And what motivated that leap?
Okay. I would go with the power of one in this case. That one coffee with my mentor can change anything, is what I realized in October 2012. That's when I had joined Toastmasters, and there was the first meeting that I had with them on one of the Wednesdays. We just got up for coffee in a coffee cafe day. You can't see them these days. But he mentioned one beautiful line. If you give 1x importance to your club for the speeches that you deliver, you need to give 3x importance to the roles that you take in the club meetings and 5x importance to the opportunities that you get outside of your club. I had absolutely no idea. I was a new member, 3 days old as a member. And I had absolutely no idea what were the opportunities then. My very first icebreaker speech, fourth meeting as a member, that was the area contest, and the contest was scheduled before the club meeting. I walked into the meeting, I'm panicking to deliver a speech. My mentor calls me, he was serving as the area director. He calls me and then says, not even ask, he says, you are the sergeant for today's contest. You can stand out, practice your speech. Evaluation contest and humorous contest. So evaluation contest, I was standing outside the hall, guarding all the contestants and practicing my speech. That's pretty much what happened. And one message that followed, the very first club leadership role that I took, he said, congratulations on completing your club leadership training. I have given your name. Again, he's not asking me, okay? I've given your name for the division contest as PR and registrations chair. Let's rock and roll. That entirely changed my journey as a leader in Toastmasters. Once I started to take up a role in the club meeting, in the area division contest as the contest chair and as the PR registration chair, I was given the opportunity to serve as a registration chair for a district conference, and then the area director, division director, area director, so on and so on. That decision changed everything. So you listen to your mentor, because one conversation that you have with your mentor can change everything in your leadership journey.
Fantastic. I was going to say one coffee can throw so many opportunities, but yes, one conversation will get the ball rolling, and yes, that one message can make all the difference. Thank you. Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul, what is that one greatest personal transformation that you have experienced through Toastmasters?
One of the things that I've learned, Daryl, in fact, 4 things, if you permit me, are some things that I've learned in my Toastmasters leadership experience. The first one is to lead through initiative, not title. Irrespective of what title you hold, volunteer for tasks, some things that others avoid as well, solve problems before they escalate, identify ways you can do things different. So for me, lead through initiative, not title, is something that I learned. Of course, as Arjun mentioned, something that my mentor taught. The second aspect that I learned in my leadership journey is to master the art of follow through. Many times, because of the role that I hold, candidate
Gokul,
interview
we
that
aren't
we
able
did
to hear
as
you
part of
clearly.
the annual business elections that were held as part of annual business meeting, a candidate
Um,
told us, okay, am I audible now, Daryl? Is it any better?
n- Not 100%. Can you repeat again?
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Is it better, Daryl? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The first point that I was telling you was leading through initiative, not through title. Taking up tasks others avoid, taking up tasks on your own without it coming to you is something that I've learned. The second aspect is mastering the art of follow through. For leadership, it's not just about delegation, it's about ensuring things are done. So it was about following through, and that's something that I learned from a candidate who ran for an international director role, something that a candidate mentioned to us. The third aspect is something Narayanan sir always embodies. Speak with clarity and humility. Speaking with clarity is at times easy when you know what the end goal is, but when clarity kicks in and humility goes the opposite way, it does not actually help you. So when you speak with clarity, it is important to ensure that you are humble, that others are able to openly express their ideas without fear. This is not just applicable here in Toastmasters, it is more applicable in a work scenario as well. And the fourth aspect, Daryl, with your permission, that I'd like to share is celebrate others. Whatever the achievements of others are, it is important that you recognize the same and celebrate it as much as your achievements. When they feel valued, that is when performance improves. That is when they contribute to you as a team. Something that I learned from Vanita, Savita, Arjun, all of them did the exact same thing.
Thank you for sharing that, Gokul. So your lessons learned are now
So
lessons
thanks,
learned for
Daryl.
all of us here at Leap 3.0. Thank you so much. DTM Nagarajan. Now, when we all know with power comes great responsibility, and with so many responsibilities as a leader, how can one balance multiple tasks and deadlines without losing focus?
Yes, multiple tasks. So there is another term used in lighter sense about multiple tasking is like this. Somebody used to say as a joke, making a mess of several things simultaneously. This is a definition of multiple tasking. So don't expect there will be perfection in whatever you do. Even if it is not multiple tasking, still you should not expect any sort of perfection there. At the same time, as leaders, it's quite natural that many a time we will be required to handle multiple tasks. Same time, several things are coming up. What do we do? So question now from the moderator is, how do we balance these multiple tasks? Leapers and dear audience members, my fellow panelists, we have to start from the fundamentals. Number one, prioritization. Your task, just sit down calmly, prioritize 1, 2, 3. According to your knowledge, just do it. Number two, most important, one of the important steps is delegate effectively. Don't think that you can handle everything. No, it's not possible. Try to give it to your team members. Delegate. Now there are many project management tools around. Try to make use of it. Don't think that everything I will have to do manually. No, look for other technological project management tools available around. Create a schedule. When do you want to finish item number 1? Make a schedule, date-wise. Just put a schedule and do it. Managing distractions. Having said all that, there will be distraction. Some way or the other, some disturbance will come. What do you do then? You have to think about it. How do you manage it? Little bit of thought here and there. You have to learn how to manage these distractions. Reviewing and adjusting. These are all important steps. This is what I said. These are all fundamentals, my dear leapers and fellow Toastmasters. Nothing new. We have to do this reviewing and adjusting. Another step, right? Like we take reviews. What for? We just try to adjust. Everything will not be as planned. Then you readjust your goalposts. Then it will be ultimately your vision is intact there, like other leaders are mentioning. Communicating with the team, do I need to emphasize on that? No need, right? You have to communicate continuously, clearly, with clarity. Everyone is speaking about this. I am just stopping there. Focusing on high impact tasks. Few of the tasks will be very important. High impact. Spend more energy, more time, more efforts there. More importantly, taking breaks. You have to take a break, right? That's also important. Another important thing which I have learned, seeking help wherever needed. Don't think you are the end of it. If I know that Vanessa is capable, then go to her. Just seek help. These are few methods which I can recommend whenever you find you are in the middle of multitasking. These are the fundamental steps that we have to go through one after the other. You will be definitely effective.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, DTM Nagarajan. And I think now we all know how to balance multiple tasks and deadlines without losing focus. Thank you. DTM Narayanan, you have mentored so many leaders. Do you believe that leaders are born or made? And how has your experience shaped that belief?
Thank you, Daryl. We Toastmasters believe that leaders are made. But I would like to say that even though leaders are made, a few of the leaders were born. Just take the case of so many dynasties and take the case of some political families here and there around us and also in the world. We can see that a few of the leaders were born. They showed the leadership qualities even at their young age. But having said that, I also believe that many of the leaders were created. And that's how we can see many great leaders here itself. Toastmasters is a platform which created a huge number of leaders. So we can nurture the leadership qualities and other communication skills through which we can create leaders. So many leaders were already born in Toastmasters. Toastmasters is an incubator where leaders are created.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, DTM Narayanan. So yes, now we know how to create more leaders. Let's move on to DTM Savita. DTM Savita, what has leadership taught you about yourself? Something that you never expected to discover when you began your journey.
Yeah. First of all, I would say I never thought of myself as an ambitious person, but now I think I am one. Maybe I always was, but I just didn't see it. And I discovered that I can be self-motivated, that I can be stubborn, that I can have several windows open in my head and learn to focus on what needs to be done urgently. I also learned that I can overlook what is not in my power and plod along, oblivious to the outcome. So when I started, I wasn't confident. I doubted myself. I hesitated to speak up. But each challenge, each tough situation revealed a side of me I didn't know that existed. So a little more courage, a little more patience, and a little more goodness. So I realized that leadership isn't about being fearless. It's about taking the next step, even when you are uncertain. Which these are the qualities which I was not aware of.
Rightly said. I think leadership teaches you not by the book, but by experience. So thank you. DTM Vanita. Now, after completing your term as the district director, how did you reflect on your journey? Did you feel a sense of satisfaction, or was there something deeper that stayed with you?
Right after my district director term is the time where I went through this whole reflective journey of entering into coaching. So asking questions to others and to myself just became a part of who I became. And there have been so many times that just asking those questions to myself has just helped me prepare for what has been next for me. Now, just so that everyone can relate to this, remember I told you about this whole numbers game thing. If you're an area director, if you become president distinguished as an area director, that means you have chartered one club from the base that you started with. If everything is about just this in club distinguished terms, that if you add 8 members in your journey as a club officer, you have achieved some goals related to membership. So everything you can relate to this, right? Like, so it's not just quality, but it's also quantifying what you're doing. And that also helps. Every single time I would come back to a conversation where I did so much as a district director and we didn't get the district distinguished. Okay. And that used to be for like the major part of my IPDD term, it used to be a thing of regret. Somewhere during this journey, it just flipped. And I realized that I have so much, knowledge about what not to do. At the end of my journey, that I could just be, it will be so comfortable for me. So then when I started speaking to leaders who are coming up, like the next set of leaders who are coming up, I would just ask them to keep the main thing the main thing. Don't waste your time on anything else. Do this, do that. And just speaking out of my experience, I knew that it gave me more courage to share mistakes that I did during my term and things like that. So I would say very reflective, and basically having growth mindset will help you get past any rejection of yours, get past any challenge that you have. As long as you know this is not the end, what am I learning from this? If you constantly keep asking for every problem that you have, what is this trying to teach me? What am I learning from this? How can I improve from here? I think it'll be okay. So that's been the end of my district director term, Daryl.
Thank you for sharing that, PT Vanita. I think the answer is to have a growth mindset and reflect on your learning. So thank you for sharing your stories in this first particular round of questions to your panelists. I'd like to ask BTM Narayanan to adjust his mic if possible, since it was not very audible when he spoke. And also a reminder to all our panelists, let's stick to at least 1 minute or 1.5 minutes max, so we can cover more questions during this segment. All right. So once again, thank you for sharing your stories. I think leadership doesn't start with authority. It starts with awareness. And once we as leaders step forward, the next challenge is not about leading others. It's about leading ourselves. And so my question now is to DTM Arjun. Arjun, how do we deal with the imposter syndrome, right? Now that, especially when stepping up into bigger roles, when there are more expectations and there is no comfort zone anymore.
All right. Thank you, Darren. Now, when you look at imposter syndrome, right, it is not like a glitch that you have to deal with. It's more like I could say Adobe software updates for leaders that keeps coming up every single experience that you go through. Now, it's common when you're stepping up into bigger leadership roles. And I would say, first time I dealt with it, it was very, very difficult for me, honestly, so to speak. So when I interacted with quite a few experienced leaders, right, the first thing that I realized is to normalize these feelings. I feel that is where we get stuck. And when we normalize any feeling as a matter of fact, right, that's like a signal for growth and stepping outside of your comfort zone per se. Now, that was like the most practical advice that I got. All right. Now, when we try and normalize the feeling, we start to focus on how to prepare and seek guidance, so on and so forth, and then bring about these learning, these interactions which we have with experienced leaders per se. That's when we will have answers, and I think people will start embracing the growth mindset once we start normalizing this. Now, when we need to do something like this, right, we could start journaling our achievements and what we go through as such, right? And then we get these positive feedback as well. I would proudly say one of the experiences, gave me doubts on my own activities, my own self as an individual, as a person, as a leader. And when I interacted with a mentor, that's when I realized that it's a part of the learning process. Eventually, you will start how to work. You start to chase this inner critic that you have out of you and replace it with something called as a self-belief that you can really work with. And that is something that will take you a longer way. That's something that I would say. If in simple terms, or rather, if you want me to summarize what I just mentioned, normalize the feeling of imposter syndrome and self-doubt. And that's like a signal for growth. Talk about these little fears that you have with your peers, with your mentors, with people who you look up to, who you believe in, who you trust at the end of the day. And then automatically you will start celebrating these small little wins and then build confidence to perform better as a leader. And then eventually people will start following you as to what you did. And as they say, if you're leading and no one is following, you're just going for a walk. But imposter syndrome is not like that. Right? People will eventually realize who you are and start following you because they start believing.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Arjun. I'll now move on to DTM Gokul. And Gokul, my question is, how can someone stand out as a leader, even when they are very young or still early in their professional or even Toastmasters journey?
So, if you ask me, Daryl, leadership has nothing to do with age, is what I've observed. At least that's what I strongly believe. Even if you're a college student, you have umpteen leadership opportunities to become the head boy of your college, as an example, or do anything for that matter. But there is one aspect about leadership I always love, and that is that you learn a lot of things by making mistakes. If you think your leaders don't make mistakes, that's absolutely wrong. Your leaders may make more mistakes than you. But what distinguishes your leaders is how quickly they're able to correct those mistakes. It is about realizing that whenever required, a detour is often required. It is important to analyze that. So if you ask me, Daryl, irrespective of age, some of the things that I would want all of them to do is again kind of connected to my previous answer: lead through initiative, not title, mastering the art of delegation, as one of the panelists said, and following through, speaking with clarity and humility, because at times when uh, a leadership role is something that you take up, you believe you're at the top of something. But if you notice genuine leaders, if you notice leaders who have made an impact, for example, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, they've all made impact through their humility along with knowledge. So it's something that I want all of you to remember. And true leadership starts with celebrating others. So I just copy paste my previous answer here, Daryl, because I strongly believe, and I say this again, leadership has nothing to do with age. It's all about the positive impact that we can make in the
Okay,
world. Back to you.
Thank you for sharing that, DTM Gokul. I'll now move on to DTM Nagarajan. And my question is, DTM Nagarajan, as a new leader, how can one, overcome that fear of being judged, especially when, you're still finding your footing?
Yes, yes. Fear of being judged. There is a famous Japanese quote which says, "Do not live to satisfy the expectation of others." Do not live to satisfy the expectation of others. It is not possible. That we have to understand. It is not at all possible. If you try to satisfy and be happy among us, your own team leader, is it possible? It's not possible. This is the fundamental knowledge we should possess. Now, as a new leader, overcoming fear of being judged involves several aspects. It's not that easy, but again, it has got a framework. We have to go step by step. For example, many of the leaders have already mentioned about self-awareness. We have to build self-awareness, understand our own strengths and weakness, right? That is the first thing we have to do. Now, you have to focus on the team's goals. We mentioned about vision, mission, all those. What is the group is set up for? What is the team's ultimate objective? We have to prioritize team's objectives there. You know, the third one that we used to do in club, seeking feedback from any quarter, 360-degree, whatever. Do that. We do all this just to get over the fear of being judged. And fourth one, developing a growth mindset. We have already mentioned, even Daryl mentioned several questions of Daryl revolving around the mindset. We have to develop that growth mindset. Building relationships. Distinguished Toastmaster Narayanan mentioned about relationship. Establish trust there, right? And rapport with your own team members. All these will help us to move in that direction. Embracing imperfection. I told in the beginning, we are all imperfect human beings, right? We know that we are imperfect. We will make mistakes. We will commit errors, blunders. So what? This is natural. You just embrace it. Focusing on the present. Forget about what is to be achieved in the future. No, you live in the present and start doing it step by step. One step first, step second only, in that manner. Celebrating success. Even Gokul mentioned about it. Recognize achievements. Surrounding yourself with the support team. Your team will have so many supporters of you. Be in their company so that your mind will become positive. And practicing self-compassion. Treat yourself with a little kindness. Yeah. Don't always think that you are no. You also require kindness, right? So these are all certain techniques. By applying all this, you can get over this fear of being judged. That's my take, Darren. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, DTM Nagarajan. I'll quickly move on to DTM Narayanan. DTM Narayanan, now, if your work, we received this particular question, and it said, if your work style already meets the best criteria in your organization, is there still a need to change for the sake of changing?
I used to learn from the history or from the previous leaders or from the previous great people. I don't know how many of you have heard about Sergei Bubka. He was one of the greatest pole vaulters in the world. He became the world champion by breaking the world record. Even after that, he used to practice each and every day vigorously. You know for what? To break his own record. On that journey, he broke his own record for 35 times. My dear leapers, we cannot say that this is the best one. The so-called best one is only a better version of the previous best. So there's always a scope for improvement. Take the case of mobile phones. Most of us are satisfied with what we have right now, no? Still, researches are going on to make the mobile phones functions easier, better, smoother. So even if we think that this is the best one to meet all the best criteria of an organization of Toastmasters, still we have the choice to experiment with another option and see whether that option is a better one of the so-called best one right now. Unless we perceive or we experiment that, how can we get progress? This experiment is the basis of progress. So I always used to say that experiment and that result in a better one. So always try to experiment.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, DTM Narayanan. I'm sure everybody now will look forward to experimenting to become better. DTM Savita. Now, we all know setbacks or resistance is something common in leadership. And when that comes your way, do you have any habit that you put forward or use to stay resilient and keep your team inspired?
See, I'd say like when you are resilient, you need to connect with your leaders, definitely. The thing is, I told you the biggest characteristic of mine is perseverance. So you may call it stubbornness, grit, or bullheaded, but I don't give up and I don't get discouraged easily. So, many a time it may not fall your way. So you, as a leader, you need to take the hit and, you have to, but you have to try again. So as leaders, we don't have a choice. And but you need to be connected with your team. Now, your team, your leader, they don't need big plans or big speeches. They just need to know that your leader hasn't given you. That is very important. Like you may feel dejected, you may feel disappointed, but you have to show a brave front, and that's that's very important. And the second thing is that you keep yourself uh, motivated. You can remind yourself, okay, the goals are too big and you're dejected. No, you keep your focus, and you could do small things, small progress, like, instead of worrying about the whole goal, like, okay, you've saved one club or you motivated some member and you'll be happy with it, so that you don't give up. Right? And so it's very important that way. And you need to be with people who are inspiring, positive people. Talk to your mentors, go to a club meeting if that actually energizes you. So this is the things, some small things which can keep you happy and the energy flowing.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, DTM Savita. I'm sure everybody has taken note and now know how to maintain that positive mindset. I'll now move on to DTM Vanita. DTM Vanita, challenges are there come what may in leadership. And when it becomes overwhelming, what helps you to shift your perspective and lead with renewed confidence?
Sounds like every year of mine in Toastmasters, but sure. First of all, just cutting off sometimes really helps. There is many times that we would feel like absolutely overwhelmed with a number of things. Everyone who's in Toastmasters is juggling at least two minimum things, something else with Toastmasters. And, in many cases, two or more. And sometimes when it just gets a little overwhelming, just taking a break and stepping, back and looking at everything from a perspective of what is this trying to teach me could be one of the ways in which you could look at it with renewed focus. So taking a break definitely helps. Trying not to get burnt out. While I can say this for everyone on the panel, they have had at least one moment where they felt, oh my God, this is so much. This is just too much, and I'm feeling overwhelmed or I'm feeling burnt out. Has been one standard thing that everyone has gone through, irrespective of the role that they have taken. So just being aware that there is only so much that you can do, and do it in a way that, in that time that you allocate, just make sure you're doing your best. One of the things that has worked for me, and I'm a big advocate for this, is you can't be perfect everywhere all the time. So when you think there are just too many challenges, pick your perfect for the day. And by that, I just mean, if you think, okay, today I'm going to be the best club officer, then maybe your kids don't get the attention that they need. Your books don't get opened on that day, but you will be the best club officer running that meeting end to end. On a day that you decide, okay, work takes maximum priority, that day you will not be available for calls at Toastmasters or family or anything. So just pick the place that you want to be 100% at. Sometimes that helps when it gets a little overwhelming. Don't try to be everywhere all the time for everyone. Pick and choose, because your energy is definitely finite and you want to protect your energy more than anything else. Last but not the least, stick to this one important mantra. Keep the main thing the main thing. I know it's a Stephen Covey thing, but it's been passed on so many times, because in the volunteering role that we do or anything, we get so carried away by so many things that you can do. You know what? This is the first time I'm doing area director. This is the first time I'm doing VP membership. This is the first time I'm taking up club president. Let me do this. And we forget the main thing that we are supposed to do in that role. So whenever you feel like it's overwhelming and it's challenging, ask yourself, is this what you signed up for? Just keeping track of the main goal helps. Do you think so, Daryl?
Yes, absolutely. And I can see people, enjoying the insights that they're getting from this discussion. So thank you for sharing that, DTM Vanita. And thank you all for sharing your stories in this particular round. And I think we've got a little more clarity on how we can manage ourselves. But now in leadership, the next test begins: working with people. Leadership is not a solo performance. It's like a symphony of, personalities, ideas, and emotions. And so now I'm coming back to you, DTM Arjun. A leader's vision succeeds only when the team believes in it. How do you identify or build a team that truly aligns with your vision?
If you ask me, Daryl, how we could build a team that aligns with your vision, it's like assembling a team of Avengers. Only thing is, you have fewer capes and probably more spreadsheets and dashboards. That's something that I would say as far as building a team that aligns with your vision is concerned. Now, there are a few things that I personally look for, right? It's not just the skills alone, right? Skills are definitely important, but it's not just the skills that people possess per se. Looking for people who probably roll their eyes at the same stuff like you do. The value match, you understand? That's something that always carries in my world, I would say, in my belief system, it always carries a higher rank or stays at a higher rank than the resume that one has, the skills that one has. I would probably never forget the team that I picked for the conference that I had the opportunity to serve as a conference chair. That was Jamboree, actually it was the last semi-annual, but not anymore, last semi-annual conference of District 92. Naguji was the PQD that year. And he and Sudha, who was the district director that year, gave me the opportunity to serve as the conference chair then. The team that, there was a simple thing that both of them mentioned, right? We will not interfere in the decisions that you make, wherever it is that we need to interfere, wherever it is that we need to understand, that is when we will. And go ahead, pick your team and whatever it is that you wish to do or achieve as the conference chair, your vision per se, go ahead with it. That's when I realized the importance of picking the team. I had a beautiful team that supported me to serve, to bring out one of the finest conferences that we had in Leela Palace that year. Vanita was my registration chair, and we had Karan, who is now a part of District 98, who was the PR chair, and Nishta, who's now in Bombay as well, who as the PR co-chair. There was a beautiful team that I had in terms of getting things in place for the conference. So looking for the people value match, that is one thing which I would say. And the enthusiasm is something that is very, very important. Now, when you understand people's attitude, how they perform, how they really operate, then we'll be able to take care of anything that we wish to. But there is a very important aspect that comes into play as to how is it that you're going to get this entire team believe in your vision. Once we communicate the vision to the team, there is a lot of work that happens in the background or happens afterward. That is, you need to seek input from your team, how that entire progress has been, listen to their perspectives, the feedback. And once we get this input and feedback and different perspectives, then we will look at how we need to execute the tasks that we have in hand. That is very, very important. So in simple terms, the value alignment, any day it comes technical expertise or the skills that one possesses, bringing in a diverse team that makes a positive impact on what are the different aspects that you have as a vision per se, and then working with the team to define your activities. So these are some of the activities that I would personally take care of when I'm picking a team that I need to work with, and then working with the team with the vision that we have.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, Arjun. Let me move on to Gokul, DTM Gokul. So, Gokul, how can leaders effectively guide a diverse team, especially when members differ in terms of age, background, or even their working style?
So again, I believe in a four-step approach there as well, Daryl, in leading a diverse group, and this could be across age and backgrounds, as you said. The first aspect is about honoring lived experience. Now, I'll give you a comparison to help you better understand this. Now, in a community club, as an example, there'll be a mix of veteran members and there'll be there'll be a set of young members as well. Now, it's important for us as a community club officer or any member to realize both of these categories are important. For instance, older members bring that wisdom, the veteran members bring that wisdom that is required for leadership, for club business, and for any aspect for that matter. But the younger ones may bring energy. So both are assets. That's about honoring lived experience. The second aspect for me is about creating rituals that are inclusive. For example, making people feel they're part of a bigger organization that values their individuality, whether it's about how we open meetings, celebrate wins, celebrate events for that matter, festivals, right? And share, build unity. It's all about making people feel included. That for me is the second point. The third point for me is to adapt to communication styles. Now, again, quoting a very common example that some of the district directors here would have gone through. Again, with different. Some may prefer a phone call directly. I had a mentee of mine who preferred phone calls directly than a Zoom meeting, than an in-person meeting also, for instance. But it's important for WhatsApp. Some may prefer discussion over coffee, like Arjun mentioned. So flexibility in respect to action, that is what I believe is my third point. And fourth, model curiosity, not certainty. Why I say this? Because many a times what I've seen is people forget to ask this very important question of what matters to you. Now, if I'm a member, I always make it a point to ask what matters to you. And that opens doors across generation, across ages, across backgrounds, because when you know what matters to them, you'll be able to cater better to it. So irrespective of whether the group is diverse or not, Daryl, this is a 4-step approach that I use, honoring their experience, age for that matter, including inclusive rituals for that matter, communication styles that suit age groups is still something that I still do as district director. And the final point that I value the most, modeling curiosity, not certainty, asking them what matters to you, understanding that, and then catering to it. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, DTM Gokul. Let me move on to DTM Nagarajan. DTM Nagarajan, how can a leader create an inclusive environment for a team member, say, who has different abilities or needs?
Differently abled. Is it so, Darren?
Yes.
Question is around.
Yes.
Just repeat
Yeah.
your topic.
So, how can a leader create an inclusive environment?
Inclusivity. Yes. Thank you very much. Good question. Many a time, like everyone of us are aware, members will have their own limitations, can be physical, mental, or whatever. But what are we supposed to do? We are having a team. So we can't pick and choose the members, first of all. Then, as a leader, it is our duty to be aware of the inclusivity. Our duty is to take everyone along, right? In a positive atmosphere. That is how the results will be delivered at the end. So first of all, vision, mission statement. Communicate clearly to everyone, including your differently abled member or whoever who is a little lower with regard to his abilities. Communicate clearly. Then ensure that every member is having proper resources to deliver. You might have seen the workers when we engage, they have to have proper tools, right? Don't just tell them that I want this, I want this. It won't work that way. Just enable them with proper resources. Work arrangements, make it flexible, because please be aware, in your group there is a differently abled person. He may have his own limitations, so you have to keep in mind and make the arrangements accordingly, so that he can also feel as a team member there, not excluded. I am also a part of it. That is called inclusive team culture. The team itself will have to include it, not only for about the leader. Everyone should know that yes, my duty or our duty is to be in an inclusive mindset. And the physical workspace, if you have any, nowadays we are moving on to physical meetings. Those physical workspace is accessible even to this differently abled person, right? Like we say, wheelchair enabled, pathways and all that. These things we have to be aware of. It's a very simple thing, but at the same time, we have to be very much concerned about all that. Then review meetings, etc. Please, in the back of the mind, please know that this is a differently abled member. He might not be at par with your average member, but still he is your team member. Be aware of that. So that we have to do and celebrate this diversity. That is one of the items that we Toastmasters will have to do. We have been given a diverse set of human resources. We have to celebrate it. We should be happy, right? That is what we have to do. And be open to feedback, encourage feedback, and willing to make changes. Whenever you get a feedback in whichever direction, be open. By implementing all these strategies, you can create a welcoming and inclusive environment that allows differently abled members also to thrive and contribute to the team. This I have witnessed in my team when I had, it's not a slightly blind person, visually impaired. But again, he was a successful person as far as an area director is concerned. You have to give that consideration. This is what I learned from my journey. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you for sharing that, DTM Nagarajan. So I can see the red card, but we'll quickly finish this round as well. So let me now ask DTM Narayanan, how do you convince your fellow members to give their best, considering Toastmasters is a voluntary organization?
Also, I take the story of two great leaders, Vinod Kambli and Sachin Tendulkar. I don't know how many of you have heard about these two people. They were classmates and they put a world record in cricket, in the school cricket match. At that point of time, Vinod Kambli was judged as the more talented person than Sachin Tendulkar. But years after, when Sachin Tendulkar became the god of cricket, Vinod Kambli could not become even the man of cricket. You should understand the reason. When we put our level best, then only we can mark our footprint here. So no matter whether you are serving a voluntary organization or in your office or in other social area, put your 100%. Then you will definitely get that recognition what you deserve. As for me, Toastmasters is the best organization where you will get the 100% recognition for what you do and what you deserve. Take my example. Am I a great orator? No. Am I a wonderful organizer? No. Am I an excellent leader? No. Am I a handsome person? Of course, yes. But irrespective of all these facts, I could become the district director. That's the importance of Toastmasters. And I believe that when you put your 100% sincerely, you will get that recognition. So, my dear fellow leapers, put your 100%. Do whatever best you can do. Remember, your destiny is not created by the shoes you wear, but by the steps you take. So take the steps and let the world remember you as a great leader and a wonderful human being. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, DTM Narayanan. Quickly moving on to DTM Savita. What can leaders do when team members understand the value of the task, but they still lack the drive to act on it?
The thing is, actually, we need to speak to them. The problem may be personal, maybe time, maybe fatigue, maybe, anything. We cannot, so we need to speak to them, and honest discussion, we will know what is the problem. And that means the person needs even support from the district, how we can help them. That is one thing which we need to find out. And we can. And supposing if they feel it's overwhelming, like anything, we can break up what is important at that time, we need to tell them to handle. Probably renewals is at that time you've got to work on. So we should tell them to focus on that. In the meantime, we have to build a team which could support them, approach the veterans, approach the past leaders, and things could really work out. So one is breaking the task, and also we need to give them immediate feedback, recognition, as DTM Gokul mentioned, others. We need to make that team member feel that their time and effort are valued. Even when things don't go well, recognize their effort. So without recognition, there's no contribution, that's for sure. So it simply encourages a positive teamwork and camaraderie. I noticed that, that sustained participation comes only if they feel appreciated. We make them feel that you make a difference. So yes, that is one of them. And last but not the least, when your team sees you invested and consistent, it's successful. So that's very important for a leader. You should be involved.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Well said, Didi and Savita. I'll now move on to DT and Vanita. How important is it to have faith in your team and let them make mistakes and learn from them? Or is it always better to have an authority over them?
Late Chandal Kumar's favorite topic to speak about, negotiating without authority. I would always think that, just imagine that equation of hierarchy is not there. How can you get work done? And this platform is the best way to experiment that, right? Like nobody's paying you to do this, and yet you're listening to your DD coming and telling you things, and your area director is telling you to finish your CSP, and so many things like that. They are not paying us, we are not reporting to them, and yet getting the art of getting work done through just like the servant leadership has been something so significant. Applying it at work has made it very easy to manage teams, honestly, because you no longer need to micromanage. You teach them the why, you tell them what is their part in the big picture, so that they feel like their actions also will contribute to the team's success. So that's the first thing that I would think of when it comes to motivating the team or taking the team along. The second one is the environment that you create. Are they scared to make mistakes? Are you someone who encourages them to try out new things? Are you someone who allows them to learn from their mistakes? And do you have their back when things don't go as planned? That's the kind of leader that you have to ask, who are you? The third thing is all talk and no action does not go good at all. So definitely lead by example. If you are telling your team a certain something, you have to make sure that 100% you are following that first before you even ask them. So practice what you preach for sure. These are some ways in which comfortably, and the more they are receptive to feedback, the more they have that environment where they can make mistakes and fail and come to you comfortably. Now, I'm not talking about, oh, you give them the task and, let them do whatever, not that. But are you having that environment where you're giving them the tools, you're having their back, you're able to navigate them through the challenges and be with them by the side by letting them do it their style? I think those are some ways in which the team can feel extremely coming together when there are challenges.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, DT Manita. And I think through this particular round of questions, like our leader shared, teams don't thrive just on direction. They are built on trust. With that, we conclude our second segment of the panel discussion. So thank you so much to all our panelists for giving us your time and answering them, and to our Lead 3.0 cohort for sharing those very thought-provoking questions. If there's one thing that I have learned through this particular segment, it would be that leadership isn't a fixed title. It's a fluid state of learning, reflection, and most importantly, courage. With that, it's now time to open the floor to the audience, because leadership does not go, it goes through conversation. So it's now we have 10 minutes for this particular segment where we will open it to the audience to throw your questions. Please introduce yourself in one sentence, ask your question, and direct it to whichever panelist you would like to answer that question. I'd also like to remind you to keep your questions short and specific and related to the theme, that is mindset challenges and lessons for leaders. What you can probably do is raise your hand, and then one by one we will call you to ask your question. All right, so Akash, would you like to go ahead?
Hi everyone. So my name is Akash. Yeah. And my question is, so there's a lot of mindset and having resilience, like, and not giving up. So I want to understand at what point do you decide that the boat is sinking and you might as well get off before you get sink? This is both in Toastmasters and in career or general. So how do you decide if it's due to lack of skill or the boat itself is drowning off?
And who is your question directed to, Akash?
It's an open question, anyone.
Can you mention a name so that, because we don't have time.
I think it was. I remembered when Arjun was saying something about mindset and not giving up and working hard.
So, Nitya Arjun, please go ahead.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Akash. If I understand the question correctly, you're talking about how we can, as leaders, how we can understand that your team is able to perform, or when they are not able to perform. Am I paraphrasing it correctly, just to understand the question?
Yeah.
Correctly?
So how do I decide if the issue is with me or with the team? So.
Okay. So first and foremost, I would say, Akash, trust the team because they're a part of your team. Whatever happens, you're like Narayanan says, they're your family, right? And you can function when you trust your family, whatever it is that they do. You live with them, you keep up with whatever the choices that they make, right? And you always have their back. So whatever the situation is, understand the fact that there is, as a leader, there is a communication that you need to do to your team, correct? If the team is not performing, then first and foremost thing that I would recommend over here is to go back and reflect on what the communication that you made to the team was clear, because everyone comes, like I said, comes with different perspectives and belief systems. Have you spoken their language so that they can understand? And that automatically fixes most of the challenges that we would have when we are working with the team. That is like a simple solution, or rather a recommendation, I could say, as far as working with your team is concerned. And once you understand that particular mode of communication, then get into the next step, which is to understand where the lack is. Where is that particular member, or rather a team member, underperforming? Okay. And how will you be able to support that individual, collaborate with that individual, and take the next step? Ultimately, when every single member in your team performs, or rather when every single member in your team wins, you win automatically as a leader. I respect this. Back to you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that question, DTM Arjun. Let's now move on to our next. We have Bhavana. Bhavana, please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is to DTM Savita ma'am. So I want to build upon the question that we had. When our members know the value of the roles and responsibility they take, but still they lack the drive. So this happens mostly in our club meetings. They knew that they are the Toastmasters giving them the best. But still we go and speak to them, we communicate, okay, we understand there are a lot of problems in a corporate club. So understanding that, okay, we give them a time to breathe. But still by the time we get educational sessions and something in place to fill up, but still how to, how to gauge, how to get them back, and how to measure the N2 and get them back to liveliness.
So you're basically telling me that you'll try to motivate the club members, but it's there for a very short time. So motivation is fleeting. It's a feeling that fades very soon. Only motivation can do it. It's like a spark. It's like you can get the person started. But what keeps it going is discipline. And you need to keep refueling them when, when you see the tempo going down, again, you need to talk to them, bring them up. Especially when you're talking of the club meetings, you see to that you involve them even by giving small roles, maybe the prayer or the hour counter timer, but see to that they are involved every meeting. Or if you're not doing something is happening, even in the area or in your club, see that you'll involve those members so they get interested. Then, and you'll give them some small jobs where they feel responsible, they feel accountable. So that's the way you should keep driving them and see. And if you see the potential in that person as the next leader, you should see to that you take them along in everything what you do. So they learn the trade, so you have the next chain of leaders coming up. So that's one of the ways you got to the energy starts flowing only when you keep them and you tell them, the purpose why they have joined, the reason why they are here, so that time is valued. You have to remind them, you have to remind them of the bigger picture, their commitment. And I think that's the way you should keep going so that they are
Thank you.
focused.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that detail, Savita, and I hope your question is answered, Bhavana. While I call Supriya to ask the question, please remember that this segment is open to everybody here, so please feel free to raise your hand and ask questions to our esteemed panelists. Over to you, Supriya.
Thank you so much, DTM Daryl. So my question is directed to DTM Gokul because you brought this a beautiful point of dedicating time when it comes to anything, be it Toastmasters and leadership roles specifically. But sometimes when one wants to take up higher leadership roles, say for example, time becomes a barrier. As DTM Vanita rightly mentioned, all of us are juggling minimum of two things. So how do you suggest a person manages that situation?
So Vanita is the best person to answer this question, but I'll answer with the knowledge that she gave me a few years back. She introduced this word to me, Supriya, and that's called compartmentalize. She did speak about it some time back, and everywhere I'm given this opportunity, I give due credit to her because she is the person who introduced that word, compartmentalize. As she mentioned, when you are with your family. Now, I personally juggle between three aspects: my work, my family, and Toastmasters. Toastmasters for me takes as much as time as work on a regular basis. And of course, sometimes family takes a backseat. But what I've realized, Supriya, is do not do multitasking. Margaret sir clearly mentioned it. Focus your 100% of your time for one thing and then move on to the next. If you're a family person, spend time with your family. Trust me, all of us take breaks, all of us go on vacations, and we are a zero Toastmaster then. In the trio this year, we have decided Fridays are no Toastmasters Fridays unless and until these are close to renewals or something like that. So it's about identifying what works for you. I follow something else also, Priya, just because you gave me this opportunity. I thought I should mention this. My prioritization mechanism is based on impact. So uh, uh, when I gauge what I need to do, what I often end up doing is which decision that I take ends up impacting more people. And that's something that I prioritize in the beginning. This used to be the case, but then at a later stage, when you feel that you're not focusing on all of these at the same rate, you should probably look at the other aspects also. But my focus is on prioritizing by impact. Then the other leaders mentioned building trusted teams in both spheres. You have a lot of people that are ready to work with you, looking forward to work with you. Delegate, but verify. You own this as a club president in your case, for that matter. When you delegate, you ensure that things are happening properly. So delegation helps a lot. As a district director, that's exactly what I do. Many of my team members are listening to me, and I'm proud that they're working along with me. My pride, my trust in them is what helps them perform as well. Being transparent with stakeholders is the third thing that I learned, Supriya. When I communicate honestly, and I hear without any judgment. All of this will help you better manage your time, your career, and all of these things. what one single takeaway if you want to take out of this question, I would say compartmentalize.
Thank you very much, TTM Gokul, and I'm sure, Supriya, your question has been answered. Let's now move on to Bharadwaj. Bharadwaj, over to you.
So I want to ask this question to panelist Narayanan sir. So after listening to you, I feel it was like your journey of leadership is not a smooth sail. So what will be that one leadership lesson you want to tell to your younger self to make this journey smoother?
That's wonderful question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, leadership is a journey where we can create leaders. So whenever we are taking up this leadership journey, we should understand what are the criteria we have to meet and how we can perform our leadership so that it will be beneficial for the other people. The most important thing of a leadership is to make a difference in the life of others. When I was the district director, as Vanda said, I tried my level best to have this district, at least a distinguished district. But at that point of time, we could not make it. But I believe that we should not create paper clubs, or we should not get the credit because of some malpractices or something like that, for which we have a great lesson from one of our past district directors. So I learned from those mistakes, and I decided that when we are going to the journey, or when we want to get some credit, we should not get that credit by some unethical means. That's one of the greatest lessons I have learned from others. And I told my district officers, don't get any clubs or any members if they don't want to join in Toastmasters. So that's one of the greatest lessons I have learned. And regarding your question, the lesson, what makes smooth our journey is, as I told you, keep the relationships. Even during at the time of pressure, I always keep this in mind, because relationships are more important than the numbers. Maybe there may be difference of opinion. I agree, but still, I don't have any regret in getting the distinguished status at that point of time. Instead of that, I really proud of myself that I could keep a good relationship with all the Toastmasters during that journey, and I think many of the Toastmasters still believe in that, because still they recognize for me for that. This is my lesson from my journey, Toastmaster Bharadwaj.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing it, DTM Narayanan. I'm sure, Bharadwaj, you've got your question answered by Narayanan sir. All right, so we have one more hand raised. So I'm going to mention that this is the last question that we're going to take. So over to you, Saravana Kumar, for your question.
Yeah, so my name is Saravana Kumar from Greenage Master Club, Bangalore. This is question is for a panelist, Vanita. So maybe this is continuation of the Bharadwaj questions here. It's a journey, but when the journey is not too long, when it is a short period of time, like until last year, I can say that there were no urge to develop the leadership skill. Okay, so recently I realized that there is a leadership skills needs to be developed, right? So in that case, we have a very short period of time. So how the question here is that what are the three top skills, basically the leadership skills needs to be developed in a short period of time, and how do you prioritize that one? That's the question for you, Monica.
All right, I'm going to take the question on three things that you'll need to develop as an attitude or skills for becoming a better leader. First thing is, are you open to feedback? Are you someone that can take constructive criticism? Are you someone who will do it your way only, irrespective of what the others are saying, just because you have a title or an authority? Those are some things that you can ask yourself. So definitely, being open to feedback is a great, it's a great way to become a leader that people can remember. The second one is bias for action. I've said this like many times. If you see anyone who you can relate to as a leader, it's because they did something. They are accountable. You can trust them to do the job. They are 100% dependable, and they have what we call getting it done, the art of getting things done. You would see that. So, are you someone who can dirty your hands and just get into the field and get things done? That's another leadership quality that I feel is super important in the way that you groom yourself, irrespective of whichever level you are. Are you someone that has a bias to action? The third, probably my most important thing is be kind to yourself. A lot of times you're doing a lot of things already. You're not just doing one thing. Give yourself the space to fail. Give yourself the space to experiment. If not now, then maybe later. Allow yourself to grow in the process. Don't be hard on yourself. A lot of times we just stop with the fact that, oh my God, I'm such a failure, or this did not work, dwelling in the past decisions or something. So give yourself grace, like how you would give it to others. So that is like something very, very important, because as a leader, you are accountable. You have to take that difficult decision. But living with it and, being upset about it at a later point, you took the decision, you moved on and learn from it. If it's not been the great decision at that time, then learn from it and see how you can become better elsewhere. But be kind to yourself during the journey. That's my 3 things for you, Sarana Kumar. Hope that helps.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Toastmasters Aruna, and thank you, DT Manita, for answering that question. All right, Toastmasters, Leapers, thank you so much for those engaging questions, and thank you to our panelists for responding with such authenticity. All right, it's time for the curtains to come down on this particular event. I just want to take a moment to reflect on what we have witnessed. Leadership, as our panelists mentioned this evening, is not a straight road. It is filled with crossroads, but of courage, clarity, and constant learning. Now, we began this evening by asking what mindset helps leaders rise above challenges. And through every story we heard, every question, and every answer, we heard one truth being repeated, that leadership is not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most consistent, the most compassionate, and the most committed to growth. On behalf of everyone here at Leap 3.0, let's give a huge round of applause to all our panelists, distinguished Toastmasters Nagarajan, Vanita, Narayanan, Arjun, Savita, and Gokul for your candor, wisdom, and inspiration tonight. To all of you listening in, thank you for your questions, your curiosity, and your attention. It has been an honor to moderate this conversation, wishing each of you the courage to learn, the mindset to grow, and the heart to lead. Thank you, and back to our lead chair, distinguished Toastmaster Jyotika.
Thank you very much, Daryl. Let's give Daryl a huge round of applause. But I'm going to take this opportunity to take a picture of all our panelists, which we didn't do. So I'm Reese. I know you're probably wondering, why are we? Is there another panel discussion? No. We don't have, but I really need your picture. So I'm going to spotlight you again. So I'll quickly, Daryl, if you can spotlight Google and click a picture.
Nagarajan sir also.
Yes.
If Renu is here and Zoom allows you, I would highly recommend you add Renu also, Jyoti.
Renu is in a session, Google. That's why she's not able to join.
Got it.
All right. So can we click a picture, Daryl?
Yes, everybody say cheese. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Just give me a minute. And let's all remain on video. I'll capture a group picture of everybody. So Yes, keep smiling, everybody. There are 4 screens today, so you'll have to wait a little longer. All right, screen number 2. Three. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. And yes, back to you, Jyotika.
Thank you very much, Daryl. I had DTM Bharati Shevgur say that it was a masterclass in moderation. If you agree, please give a heart to Daryl for the moderating skills for the last 2 hours. And thank you to all our panelists who have sat through the 2 hours. I know it was a long session, but thank you very much. This shows your commitment to our leaders, our future leaders. Thank you for the time you have taken. And there's one thing that really stood out to me is all this while, the theory that we were going through completely aligned with your practical skills, and that it felt like both the theory and practical aspects were going hand in hand. So for me, it's a big wow, because when leaders who've done there and been that emphasize it through your own experience, it only says, or it only conveys a better message to our leapers. So leapers, say congratulations, and please give a huge round of applause to our panelists who have done so much today, sharing their experience. For me, it has definitely been an insightful session, and going forward, your experiences will add a lot of value. Me, like a kid, I was actually writing down so many notes, pages after page, and I don't know what to summarize. Honestly, I don't know what to summarize, but I'll try my level best. 2-3 lines, so at least, I was hearing you, all right? I was listening to you. But few things that really stood out for me today is when your team sees you invested and consistent, they get inspired. And I think leapers, we need to remember this. You need to set the tone. You need to be invested in the program, because when you're consistent, your team will also follow. And this is a big wow for me. Communicate with empathy, make people valued, take your team along. Keep the main thing the main thing. I just love this. Leadership has nothing to do with age. Thank you very much. And as a token of appreciation and gratitude, please accept this virtual certificate from the Leap 3.0 team that we are displaying right now. Thank you very much, DTM Nagarajan. Sir, thank you very much. Distinguished Toastmaster Vanitha Rangarajan, thank you very much. DTM Narayanan, thank you. DTM Arjun Sundar Raj, thank you very much. DTM Savita Salyan, very, very happy that you could make it here in spite of you were under the weather. And finally, our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Gokul P. Menon, thank you for making this happen. He also helped me coordinate with all of them and brought them together. So with that being said, all I can say is this is going to be a great journey for our leapers. Thank you for sharing your journey with us, and wish you all the best in whatever you do as leaders. You definitely inspired us today, and thank you very much for that. With that being said, I'd now like to adjourn this meeting, and our next session of the Leap session with Dr. Sabesan will be next Wednesday with yet another session on growth mindset, resilience, and grit. Thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you so much, Jyotika. Thank you to all the panelists who took time and were with us today. Thank you, leapers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, panelists. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye, everyone.